Alright guys, so welcome back to T90 Titans League Season 2. We've got cross Game 1 here between DracKeN in the pink trunks on his Lithuanians. Nice cavalry and monk civ with a bit of extra starting food. It's up against Mr. Yo today. He's on Japanese. Nice infantry and fishing ship civ. He's also got cheaper drop-off buildings on Japanese, and they've just got good infantry in general as well. So we're here on cross. It's the Platinum League, the Game 1. I think it's a best of 3 between these two. So we're going to see how it pans out today. One of DracKeN's golds is actually quite near Mr. Yo. Well, he's got some nice safe gold here behind him. 4 patches. His main gold is actually facing DracKeN though, or DracKeN's main gold. He's also got a nice safe gold up here as well. And there is a bit of peripheral gold around the map. Only the 4 relics for our players as well. And they seem to be somewhat in between our players. I actually know there's 5, so Yo coming out on top in that regard, I think. So DracKeN already on the water. I think Yo will look at taking it on this next villager, or maybe the one after it. He's going to use this one to go and hunt. Bearing in mind, Lithuanians does get that extra food, 150 initially, so it means that they can concentrate a little bit less on the food gathering early on, go a little bit heavier on the wood and get that early dock. I mean, Japanese, they do save a little bit of wood relative to the other civs at this stage because the mining camp's cheaper, but even still, it's only, I think, 50 wood as opposed to having 150 extra starting food to, gather 150 wood in that time. Bearing in mind, Yo's fishing will be slightly better. Only 5% better at this age, but next stage will be 10%. So start to really step up from there on, because I think it moves up to 15% in the castle, 20% in imp. Really strong infantry. Galleys are going to have a bit better line of sight, so his water fights, he'll go into them with a bit more knowledge. Bearing in mind, if the Lithuanian player can get a hold of 3 or 4 relics here, DracKeN's Nightline is going to pack a serious punch, and so will his ladies. Because he'll get scaling damage based off relics held up to 4. Also have stronger spearmen and skirmishers against range damage as well as Lithuanians, but don't know if that's really going to benefit him a lot against a civ. It's really probably going to play around infantry and siege, because you also have faster firing trebs as the Japanese, so you tend to really rely on infantry, trebs, and a little bit of your other siege units. So DracKeN up 2 villages worth at the moment, because he does have that slightly quicker dock start. So Yo is actually aging up slightly faster than DracKeN. Not really going to be of much consequence, I don't think. Yeah, none of the players actually started walling off yet, but I don't think it'll be a terribly difficult map to wall yourself in for the most part here. We might actually see one or both of our players try and take the water. I don't know if DracKeN's actually seen. I think he must have seen the villager coming past then. And he is going to wall himself off. Yo's managed to steal a couple of goats from DracKeN here. Or a couple of geese, I think they are. Silly goose. But yeah, DracKeN did see the dock, so he is going to respond with a second dock to protect his own. And prevent Yo from building two docks side by side. So at least Yo can park the villager there to repair any ships that he has come out. I don't think he'll be able to squeeze in another dock there. So DracKeN's really walling this space in, because it does give him control of both of these gold mines. Yo not having to worry about any walls at home, because right now all the focus of both places is going to be over on this water here, because you're looking to try and squeeze out some fire galleys. DracKeN has got one out for the time being. He's not got any others in the queue just yet, but he needs a little bit more gold before he can have those out. So in this way he's actually got the wood to try and add some military production, like go for his barracks and either his stables or his range, as well as get some more ships out if he needs to. So Yo, get a demo ship here. Attempting to go for the blacksmith behind enemy lines. So he's quick walled the villager in. Yo, starting to just building wall himself off. He's got barracks in his range. He's going to start making some archers back at home. So DracKeN's now going to try and take down this dock. Yo, stuck up demo ships. And the first hit, drop out the other, and get two fire ship kills for two demo ships there. Because DracKeN's only been producing off one dock here. It's now pretty even footing, in fact. That first fire galley getting focused down by Yo, so even with a bit of repairing there, Yo's managed to take the water dominance off DracKeN now. Another demo ship here. So he's going to try and save it to either hit a cluster of the fishing boats or wait until he potentially needs it on the water. Well, that's a bit of a waste there. Yo, he probably wanted that to connect over here, because then he could really do a bit of damage. And on top of that, DracKeN's now got two fresh fire galleys, so Yo probably should have actually just kept that back to try and regroup near the fishing ships and have the demo ships explode on as much as possible there, because now DracKeN has control of the water and he's pretty safely walled off here. Our players both on this right side water, which isn't really walled off at all, so Yo might be able to support it from the land. DracKeN adding a market now. He has a lot of food in the bank now, but let's get a little bit more gold so he can get that castle age. There we go, he's got plenty now. So Yo getting the villager. DracKeN had to build the dock there. So Yo's got one fire ship built up, but he's not training any more on this dock. And bearing in mind that DracKeN's now committed to a couple of extra fire galleys, committed to that second dock as well, ultimately. And these buildings, which DracKeN will eventually get, you know, Yo needed them at the time, so he could work towards his castle age, which he's got on the way. DracKeN's castle age on the way as well, banking a bit of gold. So Yo is able to repair here while DracKeN has lost that villager. Well, up here, looks like Yo is finally going to be pushed off DracKeN's water. Again, I think the water commitment there ultimately slightly bigger from DracKeN. He's had to go second dock, produce a little bit more in the way of warships. DracKeN's had to bring a repairer now. He goes a little army of his archers. Didn't throw them away, did he? Yo, castle age kicking in now. What did you do with that little army? You lose it. I missed it. So Yo secured the water over on the right side. DracKeN just cleaned up back at home. So DracKeN's done a pretty good job of cleaning up the forces Yo's had out on the map here. Every time Yo comes over to kill the villager, DracKeN manages to wipe out the army in kind. Now Yo up 2 waters to 1. Oh, here we go. He's still got those archers. Sorry, I thought he'd lost them. So Yo gonna try and force out some more building around the wall. He's gonna lose a spearman to that knight, probably. Needed these guys to come and clean him up. DracKeN now. 2 knights. Center of the map while Yo is through into DracKeN's base at the moment. Getting a villager. He's going to back out. I think he's going to lose the knight here. He will take the fight. Some nice micro there from DracKeN, who is going to try and take the fight back, but ultimately Yo come out on top here. So he's free to try a little bit of harass, but Yo try and chase. He's going to get the knight, but lose his own in the middle of the map. DracKEN's gone for a lot of monks and some mangonels, trying to break a hold that Yo has on this lower side of the map, because he's up to 3 town centers now, and he's got his 3rd water on the way. DracKeN only on the 1 town center at this stage, so the build gap really starting to grow, but it means for the meantime DracKeN can commit slightly more into army until that Vil lead starts to grow a little bit more. Nice shot there. The mangonel getting a villager, denying that building from going up. So Yo try and make do with what he's got and deal some damage here, because DracKeN's going to start pinching a lot of relics, and this will give his knights a lot more damage if he can do so. So Yo goes with relics. It's already up to 1, but DracKeN's now up to 2. So these knights are going to start hitting a little bit harder. 12 damage instead of 10. Archers coming to try and snipe a monk if they can. Yeah, we get one here. They will, but they will go down. Not sure how worth it is for that, but at this stage, the archers really not going to be that useful in fights without upgrades, which Yo won't have bothered investing in for them. He's gone for double range, in case DracKeN was going to go for more infantry or not bring out the mangonels so early here, but he's going to have to use them just for cav archers at this point, and try and get enough of those that he can just one-shot villages and harass with those, pick off small numbers of knights, and maybe even try and take out individual mangonels with those. DracKeN started to secure some of the relics. Can't really just rely on fighting cavalry v cavalry while missing out in terms of relics, because right now DracKen's skimped on merely damage upgrades, but does the same damage as Yo on his knights because he holds the 2 relics. That saved him a lot of resources doing so, and means when he does get those upgrades, obviously his knights will be like a hot knife through butter. So this town centre of Yo's won't be up much longer. There is still 3 mangonels up there. The castle not far off, so the main town centre is going to still be alright. But over here, there is a bit of a gap that Yo needs to patch. Mangonel's been taken out and the rest backing off because the castle does outrange them slightly. You have to add some defensive towers here and be very careful to not stay in monk conversion radius too long. Some of his own monks, but just decided to garrison them for the meantime. DracKeN, great job at pushing here, but his Vil count is still lagging a little bit behind Yo's, but Yo, under the pressure, hasn't really been able to fully saturate the water yet. I guess he probably hasn't really needed to as well. He's really struggling more for gold and wood at the moment. So back at DracKeN's base, an attempt at his 3rd town centre being denied here. Nice timing here from Yo, and he's going to get a lot of villagers for his trouble. It's already up in that regard. So DracKeN is able to try and hold on against this little push here. Get some value here, but Yo's going to pick off both of those mangonels with his own. Get his own out before the conversion can be made. There's a mangonel to conversion. He doesn't quite get the monk either, so but he is through on DracKeN's side of the map, and DracKeN is starting to struggle now because a lot of his villagers having to idle and be re-rallied under all this pressure. And he's already down by 30 villagers at this point, so he started so they really fall behind in that regard. Got a lot of monks. So that's a lot of gold. He's committed to them, but they are a pretty formidable opponent if they do have a light front line and you don't overextend with them. And your opponent sort of half commits into them. That's always the worst thing they can do. They either need to be very careful and basically kite the edge of the conversion radius before, try and force the monks to overextend, or need to just jump straight on them and kill them all ASAP. Cav archers mostly being cleaned up, but there's a couple left that can prove to be a bit more of a pest to DracKeN here. Oh, but these monks are going to get picked off here. This is terrible for DracKeN. So 6 light cavalry taking out 6 or 7 monks there. GG! Yo takes the game just like that.